I'm going to show you today just how powerful persuasion is. Persuasion is the art of getting people to say yes. It's psychology that's research-based and can be applied to businesses to scale their revenue. That's what I do as a job. Today, I'm going to show you a case study of a brand that literally added on millions through just some simple persuasion techniques. Now this right here is Sainsbury's, and Sainsbury's are one of the UK's largest supermarkets. They're so large, in fact, that in 2024, they brought in 32.7 billion. To put that into context, that is what 32.7 billion looks like. Damn, that's a lot of zeros. Now, Sainsbury's offer to deliver to your home, and you can either pay every single delivery, like pay as you go, or you can decide to sign up to one of these delivery pass subscriptions. So you can sign up anytime, or you can sign up midweek. Anytime is Monday to Sunday, midweek is Tuesday to Thursday, where you can have your deliveries paid for or under a pass. And as you can see, the prices vary depending on what type of pass you get, whether you get a monthly one, whether you get a 6-monthly one, whether you get a 12-monthly one. You pay different amounts. Now, Sainsbury's already had a lot of customers who paid for those delivery passes to save them a little bit of money, but they wanted more. This is how many customers they had before any elements of persuasion were put on that page there. So they had 316,000 subscribers, which brought in roughly around about 1.71 million per month in revenue, which totaled about just over 20 million per year. And that's before any type of persuasion principles were put in place. But then some key persuasion principles were put in place which increased their revenue. Take a look at this page. Can you guess what revenue increasing persuasion principles they put in place? Their page didn't look like this beforehand, by the way. Let's go up here and look at this first of all. Save up to £168 per year. Pay no delivery charges 7 days a week. That writing right there is leveraging something called loss aversion. And what loss aversion is humans have a tendency to experience twice as much pain on estimate, according to studies, of losing something when compared to gaining something of a equivalent value. Now, for instance, a simple example of how loss aversion works. If I say to you, I'm gonna give you $100 if for every day for the next week you drink 5 glasses of water. Some of you might actually do that, and then at the end of it, you will get that $100. But if I said to you, hey, I'm gonna give you $100 right now, and if you actually don't drink 5 glasses of water for the next week, every day, I'm gonna take that $100 back from you at the end of the week. That would actually motivate action a lot more, because humans are motivated a bit more by the loss of something than they are by actually gaining something. So when we look at this key bit of writing here, we can see that it is going by the principle of loss aversion, because it's highlighting how people can avoid a loss. Persuasion principle number 2, something else very interesting is happening with this writing here. It is a large number, £168, or at least in England, that is a large number. And so when you see a £168 and then see these smaller prices afterwards, these prices actually look a little bit cheaper than if they were just on their own. Let me explain why this works. It's called anchoring, by the way, anchoring with a higher number, or the contrast principle. And this one used to get me all the time when I used to go to various different coffee shops. I would go to a coffee shop every single day and I would buy a £5 latte, a £6 mocha, right? And I would think nothing of it. And I would think nothing of it because in the coffee shop, that's just the prices they charge. But when I would go to Sainsbury's, or I would go to a supermarket in the UK and I'd run out of coffee at home, I'd be looking at the prices of all the different coffees and I'd be thinking to myself, do I get this £3 jar of Nescafe here, or do I get the premium coffee, which is £6? I don't really want to get the premium coffee. What's that going to do for me? I don't want to pay double for the premium coffee, right? Which is the same conflict that a lot of people go through when they go and buy various goods from stores. However, I don't take into context at the time the complete insanity of me debating saving £3 on a coffee jar when I might get 40 or 50 coffees out of that single coffee jar because the £6 one is too expensive and I don't want to get it. But then I'll go to a coffee shop and spend that same £6 on a single coffee every day. Madness, right? But what's getting me is anchoring, aka contrast bias. Things only make sense in the presence of other things. Okay, so back to the page. Can you see anything else which might increase conversions on this page because persuasion has been increased? I'll point some out to you right now. Delivery pass guarantee. We guarantee you won't be out of pocket. If you don't save enough to cover the cost of your delivery pass, we'll send you a voucher for the difference. So they've got a very strong guarantee there. And there's a few specific things that guarantee is aimed to address. First of all, they're saying if you don't get that saving right here, we will give you a voucher of the difference. So they're guaranteeing that saving. And in times like this, in times like we're in at the moment where a lot of people are short on money, personal debt is at an all-time high. Think about what people are thinking when they come to this page. They are thinking to themselves, do I really want to lock myself into another contract? I've got Netflix, I've got Amazon Prime that I'm locked into, I've got my mobile phone, I've got my car on finance. Do I really want to be locked in to something else or pay for a service that I might not need? Is it gonna be worth it? And so what this persuasion principle has done is saying, I guarantee that this is gonna be worth it. Now there's a few more bits of subtle psychology on this page, but they're some of the big things. Let me show you exactly what result came out of this. So remember, 316,000 subscribers, 1.71 million per month, and 20.4 million per year. These persuasion techniques saw a 10.1% increase in revenue. So what does that look like? That looks like 348,000 subscribers, 1.88 million per month, and 22,550,000 per year. So these are the numbers side by side. You can see the increase here, an extra 30,000 subscribers, an extra 120 grand a month, and an extra over 2 million per year. Now I'm talking to you about this because I want to demonstrate to you just how powerful persuasion is. When we look at the things that changed on that page, there's a few other things, like I said, and if you reach out to me through Instagram, I can tell you a few other things which went on that page, which increased those sales and, pulled the big lever to actually get that extra 2 billion per year. But those things which I've pointed out right there, they're powerful techniques, and guess what? They're very simple as well. And how long do you think it took them to implement those things? Not very long, probably under an hour, and it got them an extra 2 million per year. Now, persuasion, in my opinion, is kind of like surgery. If you do it correctly, it's absolutely great. It's wonderful for the thing that you're doing the surgery on, the business, right? But if you get it wrong, and a lot of people get it wrong because they kind of understand persuasion, they kind of understand reciprocity, they kind of understand authority, and they kind of understand where to put bits and bobs, but they haven't really ever experimented with it. They haven't really put it in major organizations, and they haven't really ever seen the results. And let me tell you, a lot of advice out there on persuasion principles, on behavioral science and things like this is just not correct when it's actually tested and actually put to, the numbers and that. So like I say, I've got a ton of other things like this that I can show you before and after. And if you do find this interesting, I will do other videos like this. I really cannot wait until one of you guys also turn around and tell me in a month or two, inevitably, this is what always happens, that, hey, that example you gave on Sainsbury's, this is now in someone's course, and they're teaching other people how to be a millionaire through that case study that you painted out to us. I can't wait for it. I can't wait for it. But anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Take it easy. See you in the next one.